While every project manager recognizes inherent risks, delays, accidents, illnesses, etc., it's important to remember that planning can significantly mitigate them, not eliminate them entirely. In project management, a risk is any uncertain event that could impact project goals, either positively or negatively. No amount of planning can overcome or control risk. Some risks are identifiable beforehand, like equipment failure or requirement changes. Others, like schedule delays or budget overruns, are predictable consequences. But unforeseen events, like pandemics or economic crises, also pose significant threats. This module equips you with the knowledge and tools to manage project risks effectively, focusing on concepts, processes, and techniques. In this module, we will understand how to identify project risks, assess the significance of different project risks, describe the 5 responses to managing risks, understand the role contingency plans play in the risk management process, understand how contingency funds and time buffers are used to manage risks on a project, recognize the need for risk management being an ongoing activity, describe the change control process. The reading assignment for this module is Larson Chapter 7. While risks can occasionally have positive outcomes, like unforeseen material price reductions, this module focuses primarily on managing potential negative impacts and the risk management process itself. Risk management proactively identifies and addresses potential problems that might arise during project execution. It involves 4 key steps. The first step in risk management is thorough identification. We ask the crucial question, what can go wrong? By brainstorming potential problems, we gain a comprehensive view of potential threats. Once risks are identified, we focus on mitigation. Here, the question shifts to, what are the consequences of this risk? Understanding the potential impact allows us to prioritize and develop strategies to minimize its effect. The next step is proactive mitigation. We ask, what can we do about this risk before the project starts? By taking preventative measures like developing alternative suppliers or building buffer time into the schedule, we can significantly reduce the risk's impact. Finally, we acknowledge that some unforeseen events may still occur. For these situations, we develop contingency plans. This may involve allocating contingency funds to cover the costs associated with materialized risks. This graphic model depicts the dynamic relationship between risk likelihood and cost impact throughout a project lifecycle. On the vertical axis, we graph the risk, and on the horizontal axis, we graph the project lifecycle. On the graph, there are 2 curves. The first curve is the chance of the risk occurring. The second curve shows the cost of fixing the risk event. In the early stages of the project lifecycle, uncertainty reigns supreme. Questions about timelines, costs, and technology remain unanswered, leading to a high likelihood of risk events occurring. These might include errors in time estimates, cost calculations, or design choices. However, at this stage, the project hasn't invested heavily, so the cost impact of a risk event is typically low. For example, discovering a minor design flaw during the planning phase is relatively inexpensive to fix compared to later stages. As the project progresses, uncertainties are addressed and critical questions are answered. This leads to a decrease in the likelihood of risk events occurring. Mitigation strategies like risk identification and planning become more effective. However, the cost impact of a risk event paradoxically increases with progress. This is because the project has become more invested in resources and time. For instance, discovering a major design flaw after a prototype has been built carries a much higher cost burden compared to identifying it during the planning phase. This model emphasizes the importance of proactive risk management throughout the project lifecycle. By identifying potential risks early and taking preventative measures, project managers can significantly reduce the likelihood of their occurrence and minimize their overall impact, even as the potential cost of those risks increases. Risk management is a proactive strategy, not a reactive one. It's a preventative process that minimizes surprises and the negative impacts of unforeseen events. This approach also equips project managers to seize opportunities arising from time, cost, or technical advantages. Effective risk management empowers project managers with greater control over the project's future. This translates to a significantly higher chance of achieving project objectives on schedule, within budget, and meeting all technical performance requirements. The major components of the risk management process are depicted in this slide. Step 1 is risk identification. Here we analyze the project to pinpoint potential risk sources. Step 2 is risk assessment. Here we evaluate each identified risk by considering its potential impact severity, likelihood of occurrence, and the level of control we have over it. Step 3 is risk response planning. In this step, we develop strategies to mitigate potential damage. This might involve risk reduction measures or contingency plans to address unforeseen events. Finally, Step 4 is monitoring and control. In this step, we emphasize that risk management is an ongoing process. This final step emphasizes the importance of continuously monitoring risks and adapting our response strategies as needed. Each step will be examined in more detail in the remainder of the module.